What if I told you there's a science-backed way to live longer, stay stronger, protect your brain, and feel better every day? And no, it's not Dr. Dive's voltaic belt. It's resistance training, a powerful proven medicine. Subscribe for more fact-based information, not hyped-up exaggerations or product promotions. Hi, I'm Dr. Jake. This is the first in a series exploring the ways exercise benefits you, starting with resistance training. True or false, you need to lift heavy weights to build muscle. Stick around for the answer to that and more. Let's break down exactly what resistance training does, how it works, and why you should be doing it, starting today. Let's start with the obvious, muscle. Anciently, humans built muscle to build sturdy castles and battle fire-breathing dragons. Then in the 1930s, adding muscle hid ribs and made men out of 90-pound weaklings. But today we know that resistance training not only elevates strength, but it also reduces diseases and improves quality of life for men and women of all ages and body types. Without it, muscle mass declines around age 30, a process known as sarcopenia. A 2019 study showed that this accelerates at age 60 with up to 30% muscle loss by age 70. That's a massive hit to not just strength, but balance and independence. The good news, according to the National Strength and Conditioning Association, resistance training reverses this decline, even into your 70s and 80s. The bad news, it can't reverse aging, but you'll be the hero when you're 85 and opening pickle jars at the AARP meetings. And no, you don't have to lift like a bodybuilder or Charles Atlas. If you're beginning, start by working your major muscle groups with 2 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps, 2 to 3 times per week. Beyond that, if you want more strength, focus on lifting heavier loads and lower reps. And if you want larger muscles, monitor resistance in high volumes, meaning more reps, sets, and exercises. Think cardio as the king of weight loss. Think again. More muscle equals a higher resting metabolic rate, better glucose control, and less visceral fat, the unhealthy stuff. For every pound of muscle you add, burns less than 10 additional calories per day. That's not a lot, but it adds up and helps with long-term weight management. But resistance training also boosts mitochondrial function, your body's energy factories, meaning you'll feel more energetic and burn a few more active calories throughout the day. And here's something most people overlook. Your muscles help regulate blood sugar. Resistance training improves insulin sensitivity and lowers A1C levels in people with type 2 diabetes, comparable to aerobic exercise. A major Harvard study found that it lowered the risk for diabetes by 30% in men who regularly strength trained, even if they didn't do cardio. And here's why. Strength training makes your muscles more sensitive to insulin, pulling more sugar out of the blood for fuel and muscle glycogen replenishment. That's stored energy for your next workout. So resistance training doesn't just boost your metabolism, it fine-tunes it. Exactly like adding Brad Pitt to your Formula One racing team. Click like and subscribe if you learned something new, and comment on your favorite F1 driver. Let's talk bones. Weakening bones is often seen as an inevitable part of aging, especially in women, as bone mass begins to decline around age 30. But a meta-analysis found that resistance training is effective in significantly reducing this decline in premenopausal women, and thus likely preventing osteoporosis down the road. In women over 60, high-intensity resistance and impact training significantly increases spine and hip bone density without injury. Lifting weights, heavy or light, stimulates bone remodeling via muscle contraction. That tug-of-war activates bone-building cells that leads to stronger bones and reduced fracture risk. And with special equipment, resistance training even builds bone and muscle in space. That's why you never heard about osteoporosis in Captain Janaway. Back in the day, I was taught that only aerobic exercise is good for the heart. Wow, how things have changed over the past years. Since 2007, the American Heart Association has recommended resistance training for heart health. Yet, it recently stated that resistance training is an underutilized tool for improving cardiovascular health and reducing heart disease in adults with and without cardiovascular disease. As little as 30 to 60 minutes per week is associated with improvements in all of these health conditions. Early concerns were that lifting heavy weights would cause blood pressure to skyrocket, which it does, temporarily. Similar to heart rate, regularly increasing blood pressure during exercise lowers it at rest. Consider mixing up your workouts with some circuit resistance training, a combo of both aerobic and resistance training that's better for your muscles and heart than this combo. Sorry, Wendy's. Circuit training involves 8 to 10 exercises that target different muscle groups with little rest in between, repeated 2 to 3 times within about 30 minutes. It's a great way to overload both your heart and your muscles, and is proven to be bad to heart disease and obesity, which is good for you. But wait, there's more. Resistance training releases myokines, proteins sent out by the muscle with their own health benefits. For example, irisin helps brown white fat and regulate blood glucose. Other myokines boost brain power, reduce inflammation, slow down aging, and even fight off some cancers. Speaking of cancer, resistance training is safe and beneficial for survivors of breast, colorectal, and prostate cancer. Plus, it reduces fatigue, preserves muscle mass, and improves outcomes. Struggling with stress, anxiety, or depression, resistance training can help without the side effects of meds. Dozens of clinical trials show that even moderate intensity lifting reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression, even in people who aren't fit. It does so to a similar degree of other types of exercises, and its impact can be almost immediate. How does resistance training do it? Through increases in serotonin, dopamine, and BDNF, a protein that protects the brain. Do you find that lifting improves your mood? Let me know in the comments. Who doesn't want to live longer? Resistance training can help you do just that. A 2022 analysis of 150,000 adults found that lifting weights 1 to 2 times per week cut all-cause mortality risk by 22%. It does so by lowering some disease risks, but also by improving quality of life. According to research from the British Medical Journal, grip strength alone, just how hard you can squeeze, predicts mortality risk better than blood pressure. Basically, a high grip strength indicates elevated muscle mass and function, which corresponds to better overall health and a longer life. So the next time someone gives you a limp handshake, you might want to gently suggest they start lifting before it's too late. Sure, resistance training improves many health markers, but more than that, it helps you live life on your own terms. As we age, everyday tasks like climbing chairs and getting up from a chair can become surprisingly hard. But resistance training reverses that decline. It improves mobility, balance, and reaction time, and reduces the risk of falling, one of the leading causes of injury in older adults. But these aren't just benefits for old folks. Improved joint stability, posture, and functional strength help everyone from 18 to 88 move with more ease and confidence. Now that I've covered the benefits, let's run down some resistance training myths. Lifting makes women bulky. No, women don't have enough testosterone to do that naturally. Bulked up women have likely put some special juice into their muscles, if you know what I mean. You need to lift heavy to build muscle. Lifting light to moderate loads to failure produces similar hypertrophy as heavy loads. You must be sore to see results. Delayed onset muscle soreness is not an indicator of a productive workout or muscle growth. Too much muscle soreness can indicate overtraining and diminished results. Strength training is bad for your joints. When performed with proper form, resistance training improves joint health by strengthening surrounding muscles and ligaments. Machines are useless. Free weights are the only way. Machines can be just as effective, especially for beginners or people with mobility limitations. So whether it's fancy machines, body weight exercises, resistance bands, or water jugs, anything that challenges your muscles, builds muscle and burns fat, strengthens bones, boosts mental health, protects your heart, reduces chronic disease, keeps you functional and independent, and helps you live longer. As you can see, resistance training is more than exercise. It's medicine. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Start small with a few basic exercises per week, but stay consistent. You're not just building muscle, you're building a better future. Hit that like button and subscribe, and comment on what form of resistance training works best for you. Thanks for watching, and as always, my answers come from peer-reviewed research.